Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the overall crypto market. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, we do have an FOMC meeting coming up in about roughly an hour now. If you guys did want me to, live stream it or possibly live stream it, I could definitely see what I can do. Definitely comment down below and hit that like button if you guys do want me to live stream it. But right now, as we do really kind of look at the market, it is, kind of stable. There's not a lot of price action movement on the 24-hour span, which is kind of concerning. We're going to be talking about why. But these events are historically proven to be sort of it's hard. It's like a 50-50. Sometimes they're bullish, sometimes they're bearish, depending on the, rate hike increase or decrease. And right now, a lot of people are thinking like 75, possibly it could be 100 too. We don't know. All we know right now is that it's going to be happening today at 2:30 p.m. ET. Like I said, I could possibly live stream it. We have a few in the past. June 15th, for an example, it happened on June 15th, happened on July 27th as well. Now, why am I watching these two dates? Why am I going back in time and looking at these? Well, June 15th and July 27th are two dates that we have been watching for closely on the chart, simply because we want to not only provide a little bit of an insight on what happened in the past, but also give you guys just an insight on what has been happening recently with the dollar. So let me go to the daily span here, and let's actually look at a few things. So we'll start with the June time frame. So here's June 15th. Price action on the dollar kind of dropped a little bit, but ultimately it went back to rally standards. And then on July 27th, which was here, we still had a nice little crashing formation, but we ended up bottoming out and we started to rise yet again. The dollar doesn't really get too much affected by this. I mean, yeah, sure, we could see a little bit of some price action happening after the fact, but more so equities and crypto get affected the most during this time frame. And the dollar will kind of, be affected depending on what individuals do after the fact. More so like if people are going to panic sell, stocks and crypto, they'll most likely see the dollar increase. If they're going to be buying, well, then you'll see the dollar kind of decrease. And it's not because of how much money's pouring out of the dollar into crypto or anything like that, but it's more so just, the effects after the fact. But we have been watching the dollar. I've been looking at this on the macro time frame. You guys are probably all aware of this if you have been watching my, past videos. We've been looking at the macro fib levels on this, and it looks like this wants to go to that 120 level. This is $1.20, just for anybody who thinks that this is 120 or anything. If we break out of that 120 level, things are going to get very concerning very quick. What I'm watching for is if we are going to top there. Because if we do top there, could we see a 2008 financial crisis drop on the dollar, which is like a 40% drop, from this level up here to about, 70, which is our actual fib level bottom that we're utilizing right now. Or are we going to see something, very similar to March of 2020, which is during this time frame here. This was, for the most part, about a 13% drop. We go back to 2017 for an example. This is the bull run back there. This was about a 15% drop. Again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. If we do top here, a 15% drop would basically be 102. But if we did repeat this drop back here, and say for so we don't have a 2008 financial crisis, and we drop 33.5%, which is very substantial, especially for a currency like the US dollar. A 33% drop in the value for the US dollar would bring it actually down to almost this floor model going all the way back to the 2014 timeframe. This would be about 80. Do I think that that is realistic? Not necessarily. I'm actually looking to see if we do hold the floor, which is like the March of 2020 lows. This would be about a 25.84% drop. This would be about almost 90 cents for the US dollar, which I would argue is right around the positioning for what the dollar is actually worth right now, or even possibly 88. Again, anywhere between these two levels is fine with me. All we need to see is the dollar topping. It doesn't really matter where the dollar bottoms after the fact. We just want to see what is going to happen here. It's kind of this point where we know that the dollar is overbought. We know that it's overvalued right now. I mean, even look at the RSI, comparing it to the RSI going back to 2015, for an example. This continued to kind of run up. We're waiting to see a bearish divergence here in regards to RSI compared to price action, where we kind of did see that back in 2015 on the monthly span, where we did see the RSI dropping drastically, but we didn't see the price action fall yet until about like 2016. So this almost took a full-on year after the RSI topped for the price action to actually change and drop on the dollar. But nonetheless, what I'm really kind of looking for is what's going to happen after the fact with the FOMC meeting. Because this is what's going to really kind of play into the idea on like what happens within crypto. Now, I'm going to tell you guys my position currently. I am, at this current moment in time, position in stables and in positions within crypto. What does that really look like in regards to my portfolio? Well, I've been talking to you guys for the longest time about why I believe everyone should be preparing to have some stables on the sideline, as well as kind of some positions as well taken already. I'm about 45-55. 45% in stables, 55% positions currently. And when we really kind of look at things happening around this market, do I believe that the bottom is in? I'm indifferent. I really don't care about guessing if the bottom's in. I don't really care about calling the bottom or anything like that. All we know is that nearly every single chart, Bitcoin and also the total 2 in regards to the altcoin market, are not bullish. The total 2 is still under significant resistance. Bitcoin is still under significant resistance. Bitcoin technically needs to run up to 28K to be back into a bullish, sort of area, which would be, the 200 EMA. And even then, it is still in a massive downtrend. We still have a long way to go on Bitcoin and also even on the total 2. But what I'm looking for is the FOMC meeting and what happens after the fact. When we really kind of look at this, we go back to June 15th. This is where, Bitcoin had a little bit of a run up because of the FOMC meeting, but then after the fact, we dropped 19%. Now, does that mean that we're going to drop? Not necessarily, because again, going back to July 27th, we did see a massive move, almost 3% move on Bitcoin, or on the total 2, for altcoins. And Bitcoin is also the same. We look here. This was a 23% drop in value on Bitcoin and about a almost 2% increase back in July. Again, we don't know what's going to happen from this FOMC meeting. This is why I say I'm prepared on either side of the case. Now, what we are looking at is, are we going to pump and then drop rapidly on Bitcoin, which, is a possibility. This would be about, almost a 23% drop on Bitcoin. This is if we ran up to about 21K on Bitcoin. Why do I think a 21K run up is possible? Well, just because of, the FOMC meeting comes out bullish, okay, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, longs get wrecked and, we go into this massive drop, this cascading drop. We make new all-time, lows, not all-time lows, new lows, and everyone's calling for, massive lows. They're going 10K, below 10K, 8K, 3K, whatever. The reason why I think that this, 16 point, almost 2K level is interesting is just because of the November 2020 timeframe. From here, I do believe that Bitcoin would trade sideways, and then we will have, the bull run. We don't know when that bull run is going to happen. A lot of people have projected 2023, 2024, whatever. I don't really care about timeframes or guessing timeframes. I just kind of look at the chart and trade the chart. All we know is that Bitcoin could very well have bottomed out. In fact, just recently, we kind of settled on major support, which has been a support zone for a while, holding on Bitcoin. Do I believe that this, FOMC meeting is going to be bullish and we actually pump out of this? It's possible. We could have this huge, technically, let's just kind of go off of, the July low that we hit. So the July low to the topping point here, which was about 33.42%. If we did kind of repeat that, we wouldn't even be above this high anyways. We'd still be making lower highs, which is concerning. What I personally want to see on Bitcoin, if we do have a bullish FOMC meeting and everything's looking good, I would want to see a new high here. A higher high, followed by a retest of the 200 EMA, which would be at 28K, and a full-on break over that. That would be very bullish for Bitcoin. But I still believe that we have a while left in this market until that does officially happen. What's interesting though on the with the RSI with this FOMC meeting is recently on the drops on Bitcoin, even on the recent drop, our RSI is actually pretty bullish right now. And even recently on this drop back here in September, which was the beginning of September, which was where we kind of came down to about like 18.5K, the RSI was pretty good. It was actually kind of, neutral. It was right above the oversold area, and it looks like the same level that we did hit back in the end of August. It's also a very similar, level that we've seen back in July as well before we started to, kind of increase in value. Although RSI is not a clear indicator of the fact that, like, all right, yeah, we're going to go on a bullish run here, it's still pretty significant that we are at this current moment in time with the FOMC meeting here, with the price action already kind of dropping out. I mean, like, recently off of these, highs back here, this is just like in the, beginning of September, we're still down about, almost 20% on this low down here, and going off of the recent high, this is about almost a 30% drop in Bitcoin's value. So again, we have been seeing a lot of swings in Bitcoin. I would argue that, is lower going to be guaranteed here? Not necessarily. But if that is the case, I'm still looking at a few altcoins. XRP is one that has recently just jumped out a little bit in value. Going back to June, you can see this, 17% drop in price. If we did repeat this, drop in price, we'd settle around like 35 cents. I think that that is a pretty good area to, kind of get into XRP at. In regard to the 26th, though, again, we still kind of have that nice little pump up to a resistance zone, a 26% increase in price, and then we kind of from there had this massive downtrend, which was about a 24% drop in price. Now, we already are at resistance here for XRP, which is pretty interesting, and it kind of looks like we are repeating the same exact, sort of pattern that we just recently traded back in the, middle of, September before we hit this resistance zone. So I'm watching XRP pretty closely here. Quant is also another one that I'm watching because, if we have this, 20% drop in price going back to June, we could hit just right by our demand zone down here, which we have been looking at for a while to see if this is going to be probable, which is about $50 to, $77. But we could also have, this sort of quick sell-off pattern that we did see back in July, which did kind of wick down to this before, pumping astronomically about, 70% on Quant. Again, if we have this, sort of quick sell-off, this was about, this was like a 32% drop in price from a little bit of a high. If we do kind of repeat that 32% drop in price, it would be right back down into this demand zone of about $76, dollars. From there, if we did kind of repeat that 70% drop or 70% increase in price, it would be right around the same range as the high that we recently seen in August. If we could retest that and actually break out, then we will be, pumping to about roughly $200 plus, which this would be significant. This would be basically us kind of going on a little bit of a nice tear. Who knows what happens after that, but we'll most likely kind of trade around, this range for a little bit in time, sideways, but we still don't know what's going to happen. Neither way is guaranteed. I'm just going to say, like, I have no idea what's going to happen from here on out. We have to wait for the FOMC meeting to really kind of, decide what we are going to do today, but I'm watching this closely. I'm still very positioned, like I told you guys. I'm still in stables. I still have a lot of positions taken already. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.